It's Friday, right? Yes. Yes, it's Friday, and I've got plenty of nutmeg in my drink. We are ready to go. I'm your host, John Townsend. I welcome you into the Nutmeg Tavern, the virtual Nutmeg Tavern. We can all crowd in here. There's plenty of room by the fire, well, there's probably some other tables over here. And I'm joined behind the bar, the man who's serving the drinks and super chat, Ryan.
Hello, it's good to be here today. Happy Friday.
Ryan's all dressed up in his other outfit. No slimy bar
The old
apron.
spiffy dids.
Nothing like that. And behind the console making all things technical happen is Aaron.
Hey everyone, thank you for being here today. And happy Friday, yeah.
Yeah, happy Friday. It has been a fun week, and we've got to do lots of fun things. We're getting really close with Monday's video, which is a big project. We took a lot of time kind of thinking about it. We drove all over the place. And
Monday's video?
Is it Monday's video? Right.
Hopefully.
The beginning of the week video for next
early
week.
next week.
Well, the sometime soon video, we'll call it that.
It will be out next week.
Okay. Well, anyway, today, because we wouldn't want to shoot in the last minute. Today we were out shooting part of it. And, we were at a location that I haven't been to for 10 years, and it was quite the flashback.
What were we doing the last time we were at this location, John?
Let's just say it had something to do with a movie. Anyway, next next up.
Deliverance.
Yeah, no.
Gosh. It was a fun shoot, though.
It was fun.
We got to get out in a river and mess around, have fun. Yeah. I felt like I was 14 again. It was a lot of fun.
And it's hilarious watching Aaron with, a couple $1,000s worth of camera that can't get damaged by water, standing in the river and doing his shots, and that's always
hilarious is the right word for it.
I wasn't bothered at all. I knew we weren't gonna trip and fall.
I look back at John. Now this is okay to do, right? And he was like, "Well,
what?
We'll figure it out."
We got a couple of super jets just piled in here right here. So, Aaron, if you can see that earlier one, go ahead and fire it off. I'm going to catch these up real quick. We've got somebody that says, got my fishing set the other day. Once again, not disappointed. Well done. Hey.
Perfect timing.
We were using one of those today.
Yeah.
The Susan Super Chat are there records or receipts that say what people stocked up on before heading into the great beyond?
I'm not sure what the beyond is. I think they mean...
I think that, like death, dying.
Ooh.
No. What do you stock up on before you die?
I mean...
I don't know if that's what...
I think
you're going to have to let us know what you mean.
I think they mean going into the frontier.
Maybe. Or outer space.
Okay. The topic for today, we're going to just jump right in there. Did you have that first super chat you wanted to get, Aaron?
I am so sorry. I am not able to find it. YouTube.
So
we love YouTube. But,
something happens where these super chats that you guys leave super early, when it's time to go, we can't find them.
The system.
I'm sure that you guys can help me in the chat find it. Somebody can copy paste what they said, and you guys can point it out, and we can get this done.
Yes.
Help me.
Oh, and before we get to the topic today, I'm wearing my special hat. This is the hat that I was wearing when we did the fried chicken episode. That's why it looks a little, maybe time worn, because it is. But it's a wonderful hat, and I bring it out every, 30 episodes, and I'll wear it for one. So enjoy this hat and fried chicken. It was
Before
good.
the shoot started, he goes, Aaron, which one? My new hat or my fried chicken hat for luck? And I said, fried chicken.
So today, because we were out at the river and because of the bigger topic that we're going to be covering here in that next sometime soon episode, maybe Monday, I doubt it, apparently. Fishing is part of the topic, and so I thought, let's do a fun picture study and dig into images from the 18th century and a few from the 19th century that have to do with fishing, and so I thought that would be a lot of fun. So let's jump right in. late 19th century. Yes, fishing wasn't necessarily all just industrial fishing. It wasn't all low-class fishing. There was certainly the upper crust that wanted to enjoy going out and fishing, and so we've got a whole group of gentlemen in a punt out here, and you can even see they have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gentlemen fishing, and then they've got sort of servant folks out here helping them because they probably didn't want to put the worms on themselves or whatever, right? So there's two men in the boat there to handle the fish, and then someone in the back that's poling along and moving the boat. So I'm wondering about this object floating in the river that looks like a top. It can't be a bobber. It would be the biggest bobber in the universe. I don't know what that is. It could be some kind of buoy.
That's weird.
Something. What do you think, Ryan?
I don't know. I don't think it's a bobber. There are 2 things floating right there, right?
Well, one of them one of them is where the artist actually signed the piece.
Oh, okay.
And it's probably something else that's out there in the river. Maybe it's a thing so you can moor to something. I'm just not sure.
I'd say if that's a bobber, their fishing poles are a little too small.
Yeah, and and check out the boat. It's definitely a boat meant to be moving around in shallow waters.
Yeah.
Very so like a John boat today. It's got thole pins for a couple of set of oars so that you can move the boat along, but it's much easier to move that boat with the pole in this circumstance because you can kind of be more precise with it. And if we look in the background, there's a larger body of water beyond the weeds, and obviously there's the ocean right there too, because there are like sails.
Oh,
and
somebody
whatnot.
says they bet it's a chum pot.
A chum pot.
Yeah, they're chumming for fish.
There we go. Great suggestion. So thank you. This is, I think it says Dutch ships in an estuary, I think. But we've got a lugger boat. Now, why? As if we look at the extreme right, there's a boat. It's high and dry, and yet the sail is all the way up. Could be that it's drying or some odd thing like that. I don't know. Seems odd that you would have the sail up in this circumstance. When it's high and dry, the tides come out. We have lots of people interacting on the shore here, getting fish, whatnot. There's even that long walk up to the hill there in the center of the scene. You can see there's a church tower in the far off. So people are walking up that very broad road up to the town. Extreme left, we have someone with a small fishing net, and they're carrying that along the shore there. And if we jump in, go to the next image, jump into the center, and we can see that this fishing boat has a wagon pulled up beside it. So they came up in higher tide, let the tide go out. They brought this wagon down with horses, backed it up into the spot so they can offload their fish out of their fishing boat and take those fish to market in a wagon. So because there's no kind of pier or quay here where the boats can come up alongside and unload.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah. Just another gorgeous image. Fishing smack and a lugger here. This little smaller boat is a small lugger with those are lug sails. There's 2 short masts here. Very quick, easy to maneuver and deal with kind of sails, and it's your bass boat of the 18th century, right? And then this larger fishing smack that's just a little bit further out with its own small boat that can follow along behind it.
I love how the artist was playing with the lighting and contrast in the clouds.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah, I might need some of these for the fish video.
Right, and the light coming off, reflecting off. Even today, we were out there in the river. You were moving that shot so that the water was reflecting the light in the rapids, and here we see those nice small wavelets catching the sky and reflecting it back.
I can't wait for everyone to see that video. I'm so excited.
There we go. Here's a fishing family. This is early 18th century. I think this is 1730s. So it's a family portrait, but they didn't want some stiff, inside portrait. So they decided to, give it a sporting atmosphere. Not uncommon. Sometimes you'll see family images like this, and they'll be like hunting guns or something here. So we've got off to the extreme right. We've got probably a bucket or a basket for bringing our fish home, and the two fishing poles. The little boy has one. The gentleman there on the right has a longer fishing pole. We've got a fishing net. We've got fish on the ground, and if you hit the next image, so I believe what we got there, right there by the boy's foot, is a canister that has more tools in it, fishing tools. I so wish we had that in our hands today so we could see exactly what the pieces, parts were in this little guy. I don't know exactly what's in it, whether it's, lures or, little tools. It could be something completely unrelated, but I don't think so. Since we have the fish, we have the net, we have a hat. It's probably the boy's hat laying there. And I'm just very, very sure that that is a fishing related tool here, if only we had more detail or the actual object in our hands.
Ooh.
Isn't that nice? Say what?
It looks kind of like that tree
Yeah,
we were by.
right. This is a pretty close up. The actual image here is about 4 times bigger, but the rest of it is just landscape. We're talking about fishing, so I zoomed in on this guy. A small fishing boat. Again, I don't know if those are 2 oars sticking out, because I'm not sure how he would maneuver this boat any other way. He's got a fishing net, though. There's somebody helping him in the boat. So he is just in. Now, this is kind of, pseudo rare. Nobody else is around. So he's not as concerned about what he's wearing. He's just got his shirt. He's got his sleeves rolled up. He's got a floppy hat on and some blue trousers. I don't know about, the other person in the boat. We just don't see enough of them. But this image does not, the kind of image does not show up lots and lots where we kind of really get a little bit closer to see what's going on. This is 1786, I think it says there. You can see the signatures in that tree roots there. Just a tremendous image and very interesting colors in this too. This is, I believe, the Thames. It's called Fishing on the Thames, and I think it's mid-century. Of course, I was going to print out all the details on these images, and I forgot it again. But we've got, in the foreground here, we got multiple people fishing, which you don't see as often in these kinds of images. A lot of times you'll see images where they'll show that bridge. You'll see some boats going in and out, like that barge that's in the very, very middle ground. Middle image, middle ground. That's a boat that's taking goods up and down the river. It's got a sail, and it's also got a couple people behind sweeps. We've got different. I mean, this is definitely. You can tell the river's being used for multiple purposes.
I would love to be able to sit on that bank.
Yeah.
I mean, I love to sit on a river bank and watch the ships come in anyways, but this just has all different types of activity going on.
Yeah. And even the center foreground, the boat with the dog.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is so real life. You can just really see this happening. People on the extreme left in the foreground, getting a larger boat ready, probably to haul goods up and down the river. This is like, imagine it's the, it's the semi-truck depot too that's going on. There's all this commerce and items that are flowing up and down the river. And, this isn't just happening on the Thames. This is happening all up and down the eastern seacoast of the United States or the colonies at the time. They're using all these things coming in from the ocean and transporting goods in a small way and in a large way. And then we also have, obviously, the water is clean enough. I'm not sure if people fish out of the Thames today and actually eat the fish, but obviously they aren't having any issue with the idea of fishing and eating those fish. And I think if we go to the next image, we'll get a lot closer. Look at that. There's that dog. There's someone fending off from the one boat, like, hey, you're hitting our boat, which can happen. And I believe the little boat in the foreground on the left even has a couple of short masts. They seem awfully short, though. I don't know. I'm not sure about those sticking up sticks.
So the boat that's banging into the other one looks like it's a boy and his dog. He's looking pretty small there. So
could be.
That boy lost control of his boat.
Well, it's happened to me, so I can't scold him too much. There's even that smaller boat there in the middle ground that has, some goods, obviously.
Yeah, covered up.
Two people, and, bales of something. They're moving up and down the river. And you can even see in the background there, boats tied up everywhere. And, they're all the same sailboats and boats that are propelled by sweeps.
I can't tell what's in the boat that the sail is up on there.
Yeah, I think it's, again, bales of goods, bags of goods, something. They're kind of lumpy and round. So, hard to say. So, not only, obviously there's the end result of fishing, right? So here's a fish market, a fishmonger stall. He's got all kinds of strange fish hanging out, cats eating whatever's, he's not paying attention to, obviously. He's trying to sell some fish instead of paying attention to his stuff. We can even see a fishing boat in the background. On the shelf there, we've got a great lantern. His hat is hung up there. He's got some barrels of something or other. He's got probably fresh fish and preserved fish. He's got some oysters there, so great.
Hey, do you care if we jump into some questions and Super Chat
for
a moment?
Let's do it.
Okay. So in the chat, we've got a couple of questions here. One, it's kind of a two-parter. Mm-hmm. What was popular fish that people were catching, and then what were popular fish that people were eating?
Well, it's one and the same, isn't it? There's obviously a lot of different ocean fish that people are eating. And I guess maybe an interesting twist on this question is, what weren't they eating, right? Or what would they consider not worthy of eating? And there's certainly some kinds of interesting answers to that. Things, we talked about in the past, the idea of lobsters only being eaten by the poorest of the poor, being used to feed prisoners and, all this kind of good stuff, which of course today is like, oh, lobsters. There were a lot of those shellfish and other fish that were kind of treated in that way. Oysters kind of really on the, it's like fried oysters, that's street food. It's not, kind of high-end food. There's some interesting fish that, so like George Washington, when we were at Mount Vernon, we did a couple episodes, and one of them had to do with the shad that run up the river in the Potomac at the time. And shad even today is something that some people, is a very sought after sport fish. And, but, around here, shad only grow like yay big. People only use them for bait. So there are a lot of different fish. I think most of the ones we would completely recognize, cod and as an ocean fish, tuna and those things. I don't have, giant lists, so I'm not sure what to say beyond that. Obviously, salmon, the potted char was a really, really big thing toward the end of the 18th century and into the 19th century. That's freshwater fish, trout for sport fishing. So there's a lot of different ones for that.
Another question in the chat was, was overfishing a problem at the time, or were there just not enough people to worry
There
about
were
that?
concerns about overfishing, and there were times when people were using the fishing methods, nets, in certain circumstances, and it would just decimate the population. So there were efforts to do some regulation of that. Obviously, that's not happening in the oceans per se, but certainly there's some effort around understanding what was going on with fishing and the overfishing of, especially in rivers, and using methods that would just gather every fish possible and make it so that there wouldn't be a next generation. There's an interesting part in The Bark-Covered House where in Michigan, the father in that setting was setting nets and catching fish, and he told his son, so the fish would run up the river and then come back down the river at a particular time, and he said, you never put the net in when the fish are going up the river, because everyone should have a chance. But when they were coming back down the river, he set his net because everyone had their chance, and so he didn't want to keep other people from being able to harvest in the river. So yeah, there's a lot of concern about that.
And no true concern about river contamination at the time?
I'm sure there was some rivers that were contaminated enough, but I don't know. I've not run into any where people were complaining about that, or at least complaining about it thinking that it would hurt the quality of the fish. Now, maybe it did, but they didn't realize it.
So Sue commented what she meant by the great beyond is going out to places that they hadn't been. So are there records
the
or
frontier.
receipts that say what they took with them?
Sure, there are a few circumstances where people will, generally it's something where somebody's talking about those people that are doing that, and they'll make reference to what they took along with them, which isn't very much usually. If you're going into the deep frontier, you don't have, you're going to a place without roads. So what you're going to take with you will fit on the back of a horse, or a pack horse or pack pony. So you're not taking a lot with you. So most of the time they took small amounts of provision, expecting they would be able to hunt and gather fish or whatever, and then the barest of bare tools to get what they needed built. So axes, maybe a saw or two, things like that.
There's a super chat, just a bit of coin to the jar for the good of the order. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Jumbo Cat Studio also has a donation without a comment.
Thank you.
John Talley, so glad the guitarist co-host is in the tavern. Always makes the show even better. If that's possible, love John's coat too. Best coat ever. I think that John Talley is buttering us up.
Yeah, I don't know, John. I don't know.
Wait, you don't like your coat?
No, my God.
Red Runner 328. I think it's a lobster trap. They're referring to that first painting.
Yeah.
The questionable bobber.
Okay.
11 Bang Bang. Would buy a bigger super chat, but I've already spent my allowance on my 18th century living history order from your website. It was worth every penny. Wonderful.
Excellent. Thank you.
Rick Rye, hey, I have a question. Was there something similar to animal preservation, like people can fish only a certain amount, or was there any knowing of overfishing? Greetings. We've touched a little bit on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I would touch more on that. I don't know. That would be a topic that would take some real searching on to find some specifics about that. I mean, there's certainly some concerns as we go through that century where, it's like, well, we used to get a whole bunch of fish out of here, now we don't. You know, even going back to that Nolan the bark covered house thing, he talks about that same river his father caught fish in, and that by the time he's writing the book, much later, 1870s, there are no fish in that river. That same fish, nothing there, because they don't go up that river anymore. It's not possible.
John Talley again. Used the fire set a bunch of times. I'm even cooking edible stuff now. What what do I do when rust gets on the metal? I might have left it outside in the rain after a night of bourbon in my Townsends mug. Well, nobody around here has ever done anything like that.
Depends on what part is getting rusty. So all the things that we sell, none of that is cast iron. None of it has this, like super powder coated, whatever. It's just like it was in the 18th century. If it's cookware, then you want to season that. So, if it gets rusty, you need to, get that rust off. And then re-season it. If it's something like the fire set itself, the grill, the whatever, you can let a certain quantity of rust gather on that. And then if you want to make it look nice again, you can just rub lamp black or something similar to that. I mean, some people would paint it black, but that's kind of nasty because then you have paint fumes burning off of it and all that kind of good stuff. So it's generally you try to get the same kind of a it doesn't have to be food safe or, as nice as the seasoning that you would do on a pan, but something like seasoning on the other pieces as well. And rust isn't going to hurt it.
All right. Ashley LeCount. When I was a kid, I didn't need anything fancy. Just some worms and a cane pole were my favorite. Nowadays, I love fishing with my husband and kiddos.
There we go.
Another super chat. Hi, folks. I'm looking for instrument tavern music, the kind you are playing yourselves during those live streams. Can you recommend a specific group or source for that? Greetings from Switzerland.
There we go. Sorry about that.
Audio. That's the reason why we got him back there. Make that technical
yeah.
stuff.
Fought it.
Of course, we would recommend Jim's Red Pants.
Jim's Red Pants, Rick and Hillary.
We would recommend them 1,000 times.
You can find some of their music on our website with CDs, and you can also find it online too.
I got their Bandcamp link
There we go.
right here.
So Aaron's in Super Chat. The boy in the last pic with the dog was probably ferrying fish cargo to the shore, and the dog would keep birds and robbers away.
Excellent.
Yeah. Jeff, have you read The Complete Angler? Highly recommended.
Got some nutmeg in my throat. Yes. The Complete Angler is great.
It's a great book. And we carry it, or we have carried it?
We have carried it in
still
the
do
past.
Yeah.
And we've got some fishing books coming up in the future available on the website.
Max Cool is in Super Chat. What is your favorite fish and nutmeg dish?
Fish and nutmeg?
Yeah.
I think the potted fish is where I would go, especially with the nutmeg, and you just can't go wrong with it.
Did you get that nutmeg taken care of?
No, it's still there.
All right, that catches us up for now. You guys can keep firing questions, and we're going to look at some more paintings.
Yeah, we're gonna dip right back into the paintings.
I saw this one, right?
There's our fish stall. Yep, go ahead. This is called the Fisheries, and it's sort of very, very compressed. Obviously, we wouldn't have all these ships all smooshed into this one place or so very near shore. So the artist is sort of pulling in these different ideas and kind of gathering them all up together for us. There's even two lighthouses, one close to the other. We're just like, well, that doesn't make much sense. But we get to see a man of war here, right up front, two-decker. We've got some sort of fishing vessel here on the extreme right with lee boards, with, as they might call it, sliding keels. And it's like, guys, you're going to have to just like work off this lee shore because you're about to smush. Anyway, and we've got some other ships in the background, but what I wanted to see what was going on in the foreground. So we've got 3 or 4 fishing vessels, it looks like 3, pulled up, and they're working on their catch that they've had in the past, unloading. These are fairly large vessels for a very small crew in these. We see, it looks like, fish and detritus kind of flopping around on the ground, something that, some kind of box apparatus that's probably something like a lobster trap or something similar there in front of the one ship. There's even one of the boat's rudders sort of leaning up against it, and the 3 people there in the back, who knows what they're doing. But notice this cart that's on the other side of the rock. One of the things that is happening in the time period is the idea, at least in England, that they would try to bring these fish to market, to towns, not right on the coast, by having either wagons or boats that would have live wells in them, or water in them, so that they could take the fish to these towns that aren't too far away, and they would still be fresh, still maybe even alive. So that's probably what's going on with this wagon, I think. Could be totally wrong on that, but it's one of the things that's happening in there.
I'm going to interject real quick from the chat. We do sell an 18th century fishing tackle set.
Yes.
That comes with 2 cork bobbers, 3 lead-free sinkers, 2 hanks of fishing line, and 3 hand-forged fish hooks.
Yeah.
All in a convenient little tin.
And if you get it, make sure to get one of the beeswax charms so you can wax the line at the same time.
Ready for the next one?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a close-up. Here we go.
Okay.
We can see a little bit closer. There's a wagon. And we can see a little bit of this stuff here, a little bit closer, a little pale, multiple fish. Who knows? Maybe they're bad fish and they just threw them out on the ground. I have no idea. A couple of boxes of this or that. Even notice how the boats are pretty much on an even keel. They've got little props to keep them straight up and down. They're probably expecting the idea that the tide comes up and they'll go back out. But while the tide is out, you set those props up so that your boat just doesn't lean over on its side. Another family portrait, and the father figure here is doing drawing. He's got a big, nice drawing board. We've got kids. The mother has the fishing pole in this circumstance. It looks like the little girl wants to go fishing, and I'm sure the boy there is throwing rocks in the river so that they wouldn't catch fish no matter what. That's probably what I would have been doing at that age.
Mm-hmm.
A beautiful drawing. This is on laid paper. It was all folded up. We can see the folds through the top middle of that. And we've got, again, people on the, not sort of extreme, but on the left-hand side, they're working with a fishing net. And some of these boats out here, again, are transporting goods. So that one in the sort of center foreground, it's got a big square box. I'm not sure what is being hauled inside that boat. Very low, kind of bargey kind of boat. This one in the foreground on the right is probably just a typical fishing boat, sort of half decked, and could go out a ways into the ocean, or at least along the coast to do fishing. And then little sprit sails here and there. Most of the people just rowing along, and we get this. I don't know, it's almost like a city in the mist in the background. It's a great piece of art. Really enjoy that one. This is supposed to be like a sister-brother thing. She's got the fishing pole, and they do all seem to be just pretty much straight-up cane poles that we see in most of these images. She's got this basket that is not big enough to hold any. It looks like it's got one small fish in it, but I'm just like, I don't know what that basket is for. And then he's got a fish that is giant. It's never going to fit in that basket. This is probably about 1790 or so. You can especially tell by her hat and his outfit there. I liked this one. This artist is Captain Gross. What's really weird about a lot of these artists, I don't know what it was with this particular set, but as I'm going through them, it seems like all their first names were Francis. So I believe this is Captain Francis Gross. Some of his art is a little, I mean, this seems very primitive, sort of, you know, a quick sketch of a person. But later on, he has some a little bit more professional looking illustrations. But this is a mill pond. This that building in the background with, I mean, the water goes basically almost underneath it, which is classical mill situation. That's where you're going to build mills, and this is the pond that holds up that water so that you have, you know, that water pressure to work with. And there's the gentleman there fishing in the mill pond, and he's got a basket so he can carry his fish home. Yeah, there he is close up. Got a bob. You could even see the bobber in the water. Look at that. This I thought was a nice image in that we can see boys fishing and then other people just enjoying the river here. So it's just a typical town setting, and you know, we've got people that are enjoying the river just like we today. It's like, boy, we could sit here by the river all day long. We were really enjoying that river, and you know, the boys are just out there having fun. It's not, you know, fishing is today, most fishing that we see is, you know, just people sport fishing, unless they're, you know, they're out in the ocean or whatever. Fishing is everything going on in the 18th century. We have very industrial large ships doing fishing. We've got people, you know, netting and getting lots of fish. And then we have also this kind of sport and fun fishing going on. It's really happening with all levels of society.
Is the baby tied to mom's back? It doesn't look like she's holding her.
She's just holding her up on one side. Or maybe the baby's levitating.
Yeah.
I thought maybe, yeah, that's got to be the answer. We don't even have to look anymore.
Next.
Floating baby.
That's the new emoji. The floating baby.
Floating baby.
Old floating baby.
No old floating baby.
Another town where we can see people out fishing, and then we've got fishing nets going on, and we can even see there's you know, it's sort of like a parking lot over here with with the fishing boats all kind of pulled up to that key area on the extreme right-hand side. City wall and all that.
Whoa.
Yeah. This one, gentleman going up the river there, somebody poling the boat behind them, and then somebody on the shore fishing. He's got baskets for his fish down at his feet, multiple things going on there. It looks like one of them was even one that he could tie on his back. I'm not sure about that. But fishing going on, and people just sort of coming up to check out the falls. Now,
I think that fella got his hook caught in that bush.
Well, quite likely. He's probably cursing it right now.
Yes, he is. He's wondering if he's going to break the line or if he's going to walk over there and get it out.
This kind of has that Edward Gorey kind of look, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
It does with the sharp pen look. And check out that waterfall. Whoa! So, I mean, Ryan, is that where you would fish in this circumstance?
Oh, heck yeah. That'd be great.
Right after the falls there?
Yeah. I mean, the falls, and then you've got the trees, the growth there. That'd be, you'd be pulling them out like crazy.
There you go. He's picked the right spot to go fish.
Also, there's appears to be a floating horse in the top left corner. Do you see that thing?
Well, that's a dog on the shore. On the other side. So you can see there's a shoreline up there.
So you cropped into a...
yeah, I did. I cropped in. There are some other people there. I did. They were boring.
It's like everything's floating in these paintings.
Well, no. I zoomed in for us. We've got children here, and they have caught a fish. I don't know what they're doing with it. The other, I mean, in the background looks like some kid's gonna sling mud at the other kid. They've got this great little fishing boat. That is such a nice little fishing boat. That, I mean, that's probably, maybe they're adults in that sort of mid ground there. I don't know, because kids aren't gonna have a really, really nice boat like that. That'd be like, you know, giving your 8-year-old a brand new car or something. So, you know, you're not gonna do that. And we've got the larger fishing or larger boat in the background pulling its smaller little tender behind it. This is Rowlandson. He's artist in the very late 18th century, early 19th century, and these guys are netting salmon. And we've got a fisherman there with a pole and a basket, or you know, to hold his fish. I mean, it looks like maybe he's directing them. I mean, if I glitching out.
There we go. Man, I don't get it.
Glitching out audio.
I'm trying, people.
It's not me.
Nope.
It's him.
Well, we don't know that.
Maybe it's the internet. Maybe it's
no, because I hear the music.
So does he have a fish basket on his back there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Creole back there. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Next.
I want a fish basket like that.
I like that net.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Can be used as a hammock as well.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. This one is sort of a finish up image. There are fish traps here. If you look at the bottom left, those are fish traps. You would probably have a weir in front of them, and you'd funnel the fish into that, and then they're caught.
Gotcha.
But who's making these fishing boats and larger boats? And this is kind of a rare image that we would see a larger boathouse where they're constructing this. So you can even see how this is a run, so you can push the boats out into the water. It's almost a ship. There's no masting going on here, so that they don't have to have any sort of higher up. You know, the building doesn't have to be tall. So it's an incredibly interesting image. We see multiple workmen there moving that log into place so that they can saw it up. And then, boy, doesn't that structure look
really
just
cool?
Great.
Yeah.
Well, almost like a living roof thing going on with it, with the.
It looks very like fantasy.
Yeah, it does. It does. And let's see. So if we look really close here, so the guys here all in a row, they've got sticks so they can push that log one way. But it also is roped on one end, and the rope goes across the road, and then we've got the guy on the far side, and he's got something like a capstan there, like a winch that he can turn, and so they can rotate the log around. It's kind of funny because I've been doing some log slicing up since lumber costs like $1 billion anymore. So I've been cutting up some logs here recently for projects on the homestead, and moving around heavy logs is really, really hard. You start to get really creative with levers and heavy equipment if that's what you've got, but usually lots of levers and this or that, and you want the log to move one way, and then it flips and it tries to crush you, and whatever, and it falls off the thing you're putting it on so you can saw it. But I love this. I love this image.
That's it.
There you go. There is quite the fishing study. There are some wonderful images. If you're interested in where these particular images came from, I think almost every one of them came from the Yale Center for British Arts. So you can find the website online. You can search through their collection of images. You can, search through time period, whatnot. Recently, they've changed a lot of their collection to be to give much bigger images in pixels, so you can really get in there and study them. So it's gotten to be a better and better source. They no longer, I don't know, maybe they've opened up the museum now so people can actually go up and go into it, but apparently while the COVID thing was happening and since people couldn't go there, they've been working on their website and wow, it's great. So if you're interested, check out the Yale Center for British Arts.
Awesome.
Let's see. I was going to mention something. Oh, we got the cool mugs. If you're interested in, this is one you didn't see. A couple weeks ago, we talked about the gray ones and the whatevers. This is a new color that came in while we weren't paying attention. Had my back turned and poof, they showed up. It's got the Nutmeg Traders logo on it, and it's the kind of see-through, really interesting white with the blue rim. It's called Ocean Rim.
Ocean Rim.
Ocean Rim.
Yes.
So, Aaron, I am disconnected.
You're disconnected?
Yep, no connection. So, I think that, and maybe it was Amber, but there was a super chat that came in that talked about a mill.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can you read that one and any after that, please?
Yeah. Let me. Well, okay. Amber's was the one about the mill, and you got that one.
I did not.
No.
Okay.
You just knew kind of what it was.
Gotcha. Amber, Crystal Daughter, thank you. I hope you can travel this year, maybe to a mill, so that we can have a video on water power. We actually have a very short video that was shot at a mill like 5 or 6 years ago.
Y Mill, yep.
The Y Mill in Maryland. That's on our channel, but it's pretty short.
We have talked several times about trying to get to a mill and even talking about millstones.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of in the works ish.
Yeah. And then we got one from Susan Leway. Going to make some rhubarb pie in my redware pie dish this weekend. Was rhubarb a popular ingredient in the 18th century?
It was there. I'm not sure if I would call it popular or not. And sometimes it's used as in a medicinal purpose. So, if people wanted to get a purge, well, then they'd get out the old rhubarb.
I feel like, is it professed cook that is French? Like the whole thing is French?
Yes.
I feel like
professed cook and there's professed cookery.
Yes, right. Whichever one of them is French, there's some rhubarb mentioned in there.
Hey, real quick, since I have the mic, let's get some more likes in here. I know last week we did the
that was a blowout.
3,000.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it helps with us and the algorithm and getting the streams out for more people to see. So we really appreciate that. And yeah.
I'll let you hold on to those super chats if you've got more.
That's it.
Oh, good.
That's all I got right
There we
now.
go. So this week's famous recipe that we will never do on 18th century cooking. It's the segment where we talk about something that we will not cook. This one's short, but I guarantee you I will not do this recipe. A cucumber soup. It's like pare and slice them, not very thin. Stew them in a little butter, put them in a strong broth, season with pepper, salt, and onions, serve them up. I don't know. Cucumber soup.
I think the chat's going to be unhappy with you about this.
No. I don't know. People keep, it's like, John, you needed to do more soup. No, we don't. No one wants to see soup. No one comes to the internet.
To eat soup. Nobody wants to see it made.
You can get soup at the store.
And who wants to eat a cucumber?
Nobody.
If it's not pickled, I don't want to come anywhere close to it.
So there you go. That was from the New and Easy Method of Cookery by Elizabeth Cleland. She's got a lot of good recipes, but that's not one of them.
Actually, we just did one of hers recently.
Yeah.
Which one was that?
I'm trying to remember.
Was it beef?
It was good.
Beef vinegar?
Yeah, I think
there you
it came
go.
out of there, yeah.
So good. Okay, a couple donations coming in. Are you still disconnected?
I'm disconnected.
Oh, man. Keltoid 5, thank you. I made it at my local Living History Museum. I saw at least 2 Townsends / Neater pottery pieces in the general store display. Nice.
Wonderful. Hey, we were just talking about you. We hadn't seen you in a while. It's good to see you.
There you go. Yeah.
Ashley LeCount, thank you. You guys should do a mill video at Spring Mill State Park here in Indiana. It's an awesome historic site. Okay. Right on. Henry, thank you. And that's all I got right now.
What do you think, Ryan?
Well, we could talk a little bit about what this video is going to take people through. I think it's exciting stuff. We don't want to give too much away.
Yeah, let's hype it up though.
But it is, I don't know, Aaron. It's one of the longest videos we've ever made.
Yeah, we've kind of been throwing a term around called mini doc. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like what we reference it as. Mm-hmm. So it's It's a lot of locations and a lot of information.
A lot of me yakking, but it's really good because there's all this B-roll that's all
Covers
interesting.
you up.
We made John change his clothes like 5 times.
14 times.
I was telling them, I don't know if anyone in chat has ever seen Duck Soup, the old Marx Brothers movie, where Groucho, they cut away for like 5 seconds to B-roll and they cut back and he's in a different outfit. We tried to make it not like that, but yeah, a lot of artwork, a lot of Foley, and a lot of really deep information on kind of the whole industry of fish preservation and how important that was. And the edit is very, very close, and it's very exciting because it's turning out exactly how we went in hoping it would.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, I think it's fun. From my side, we're talking about information and researching different things, finding references for this or that. And Aaron's on the other side working on the visuals, and it's really neat to kind of watch them come together. And Aaron's done a great job in sort of leading one thing into another. Really, I think it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's kind of like there's a lot of information. How do we make this not just John reading information?
Talking head thing.
Yeah. It was challenging, but so excited, and I hope people like it, and I'd love to do more like that. In the future, for sure. A couple more super chats, if that's cool.
Yeah.
Where did we leave off? We did Ashley. We did Henry. Henry sent another donation. Thank you. Sue O'Connor, thank you.
Sue!
Cherokee National Museum is just a few blocks from me now, going soon. Right on. Our Dead Cruiser. Would you rather be stranded with coffee eggs or hardtacks?
Oh, I'd take hardtack any day of the week. Here, look, I can eat that.
That is from 10 years ago.
Yeah, it is. It is 10 years old.
I think that's all I got right now.
I want to thank everyone, especially all you folks that have come over and joined us over on Townsends Plus. We're having a lot of fun over there, and it's really a great experiment to see kind of what we can do. So we're having a lot of fun over on Townsends Plus. If you're interested, make sure to check that out. A lot of folks also have been continuing to stick with us on Patreon. Thank you, all you wonderful Patreon supporters. Everyone who's helped us out in Super Chat today. All those Super Chats, they help us make video. When we're doing something like a mini doc that takes a lot of extra effort, a lot of extra time, it's not easy to do, and you never know what's going to happen with it. Is that going to be? Is YouTube going to like it or not? We know we can do that because we've got you guys behind us helping us out. So even if you can't help us in all those ways, whether it's merchandise or any of those things, but you just watch our videos and share them with other people, all that is a tremendous moral support from the back. So thank you so much for everything you do. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Ryan. And I hope you have a tremendous weekend.
Let me get one more
before
we go. Just real quick, just came in. Lucid Terra, I believe. Please make more vegetarian/vegan research, but I think they meant recipes.
We'll see what we can do.
Thank you.
And have a great weekend.